Okay.
Hello,
So, hi everybody. Here's Matthew Berner and my guest today,
Martin Vassilev.
Martin Vassilev. This is the first interview for Reconnect with Your Body, and I just met this incredible man yesterday.
Thank you.
Arriving in Vienna, I took a taxi, and the connection was directly happening, and I could sense a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of practical information. So I invited Martin to join me for an interview here in Vienna. And Martin has a very special story, I would say, because you've been working as a real estate man. You've been working in the kitchen as a cook.
Yes,
You've been working as sports. You've been like doing inline skating to a very high level. Um,
as a broker.
as a broker, as a taxi driver. And what immediately struck me is that the calm and somehow the wisdom you had, this intelligence of sharing and talking and
Sharing is gold.
sharing is gold. And
Yeah.
you see many people in your work sitting beside you in the car.
Yes,
How is it to be every day with different people?
every day is a new experience. There's no method. A lot of taxi drivers think like not tend not to speak with people
Yeah.
because they're afraid. But I think this is not the right way. We can learn from every person, no matter he's intelligent, smart, strong or weak
Mm.
or sick. You can learn from everyone something useful or not, or maybe useful in a different way.
Uh-huh.
So what I very often like to do, just like I was speaking to you,
Yes.
um, I'm trying always to learn from the people. That's my main target as a taxi driver.
Yeah. So you've been doing so many different works in your life, in your short life, because you're very young. Well, we don't talk about your age. That's a secret. You're very young in spirit, I would say.
Absolutely, yes.
Um, how what does it mean for you to have been through all those different jobs? Was it also a learning curve? How did you manage to, and why did you go to so many different areas?
Well, we have in life sometimes also bad moments, and not all of the moments were bad. Some of them were good, but sometimes we gotta fight with those and open our eyes. For example, with the kitchen was a burnout,
Mm,
as I told you. I had burnout. It was about four. Took me 4 years of lifetime,
uh-huh.
and even though I was quite successful, burnout is a burnout, and it opens sometimes our eyes,
So what did you,
even if you had the worst. Sorry.
yeah, no, sorry, what did you learn? Was this burnout initiatic experience? Did
Well,
it open your eyes to something?
it was first of all a shock.
Mm,
Worked in a fancy restaurant, high level, and many hours, a lot of stress, and a lot of body work as well, and brain work. And there was a moment where my body just break, and they called the hospital, and I went to the hospital.
So the body broke first. Your body told you it's over.
My body started shaking
Uh-huh.
like a drug addict who has taken too much drugs. So our body is capable of drugging ourselves if we don't use any type of drugs or medicine or alcohol or
But
something else.
in your case, it was work.
In my case, it was work and my strong motivation, which brought me to that.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't know where was um, my limits,
Uh-huh.
and
Now you know.
now I know a little bit
Now you
better.
know. Because
Hopefully,
we talked a lot about so many knowledge you have about recovering,
yeah.
about maintaining health, about staying young. And I bet this knowledge came from all those experiences.
Yes.
Can you tell us about how much life was teaching you, or what did you learn about recovering through your sports practice, or because this knowledge you have is not only in your head, in books, or on internet. We talked about it, and you have it in your body.
In the body, in the
Yeah,
stomach, I would say,
in the stomach. Why the stomach?
because it's our second brain. It has a lot of neuronic nerves,
Yes.
and we have in our brain two brains upstairs. So basically, if we count that correctly, we have three major parts of brains, and some of them are for sleep, some of them are for feelings, and the main one we know is to think. But under certain circumstances, we can use all three of them,
Mhm.
as you know.
Yes, yes. And you say it's basically the stomach. It's not the gut, it's not the belly. It's really the
The
stomach?
stomach, yes.
Stomach, okay. So you were a nutritionist too, you told me.
Yes, I was.
So if we come to the subject of food and the stomach, if we put it in this brain, it what kind of influence it has for you? What is the importance of eating?
Um, the importance of eating is we should treat our body with respect if we want that it works correctly,
Mm,
because a lot of people just sometimes look, okay, this costs too much, or I cannot afford that, like certain type of food. But it's not just the price of the food. Sometimes it can be also cheap food, which is healthy. Sometimes it's the mistake what time needs to be between the food. Sometimes people say, yeah, but I got a lot of work to do. I have excuse that I cannot eat. Then we have to find the right time. And there is always a time to find the right time when we can eat and how much. Maybe
mm,
we can take something from home, or we can um, ask someone to help us, or maybe ordering by main unknown restaurant or someone you know.
mm.
And nutrition is a really, really long topic,
Yeah,
but very important is, in my eyes, to eating in the morning a lot,
yeah.
and not eating before sleep, of course.
Mm,
That's the main two things. And the size of the food, how much we can take in one piece, is people have very different opinion on this one, but there is like a mathematic method
yeah.
we can use how
Okay.
much is good to eat in one piece.
Depending of your weight or height or
Body,
yeah.
that will be our hand. If we close our hand which shows about the other hand,
Yeah.
that is the perfect piece of food.
So this would be the amount of food
Yeah, you do the opposite way.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. From this, so this whole area as a volume, that would be the best volume for our stomach. Of course, if we
Interesting.
eat just so much, then we gotta eat maybe more often
Uh-huh.
than 2 or 3 times. It depending on what we put in this measure of size. It is a lot of things about nutrition. Is a long topic in my eyes because nutrition not just controls our shape of the body, is controlling also in what shape and how function our brain works,
Uh-huh.
and how function is our blood and our organs.
Hmm.
So it's the whole thing combined in one, and only with a healthy stomach we can feel ourselves good and
Uh-huh.
think freely. This might sound impossible or crazy, but in my opinion is if the stomach is in a good shape, yeah, some people have like a health problem with insulin, where they cannot lose weight,
Yeah.
hormone-based sicknesses. To help people like them is a really tough challenge,
Mm,
but I think nothing is impossible.
I like that.
I know a lot of stuff about losing weight, even with people who are having those sicknesses as nutrition. I
Yeah.
have learned a lot about blood groups and body metabolics.
The different types of body you told me, like
Yeah, it
180,
is.
something like that.
Yeah, it's
And
quite a lot.
every type has different needs and
Yeah, and it would take a fortune of time to make a plan for just
yeah.
one person. But maybe in future we can stick to a few different types, and
Mm.
then everyone can find out for himself what is the correct way for him.
There's something to be discovered, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if I would tell all my knowledges, it
Mm.
doesn't matter if they're not get used right.
Yes, yes. So nutrition, I love that, by the way. I never thought about it. Thank you.
Now you know.
It's already more tips for me to discover my
Thank you.
things.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nutrition is a core practice. You said, like, is it the beginning, or is, like, we talk about breathing? Is breathing starts before
I would,
eating?
well, basically, just to come back to the stomach, when we have perfect many things, then we try to make ourselves better. And usually, the stomach was, in my case, the last thing I discovered I have to fix.
Uh-huh.
Even though, sorry, actually, it should be the first.
Okay.
But to get to this point, it takes a lot of knowledge to see that a compact stomach is giving a lot of advantages, not just by running in the marathon, so also by office work, thinking, walking, being with a better balance in life.
Mm.
It's a whole different package if we have a compact stomach. Maybe not too compact, otherwise we wouldn't be able to eat more than we can enjoy. There is a downside if the stomach is too compact. I know both sides, that's why I'm saying. So we need to find the right balance.
Yes.
Sometimes overdoing something is not good.
Mm.
Yeah.
And about the breathing, because
Breathing.
I really love the story you told me about asthma. Could you share it with us?
Yes,
How you cured yourself from asthma?
Yes, I can. Basically, when I was a little kid, I was born with asthma, just like the most kids, children, and I was not a fan of the asthma sprays, and they are using bad substance like um, chloroquine, or what was the called the thing, cortisol,
Cortisol, yeah.
and those things harvest the heart and the blood. And Well, when I was a little kid, I didn't know that, but I knew I didn't like asthma sprays and medicine. The doctor told me if you don't want to use any of that, usually a doctor would never tell you that. But luck is something we need to appreciate, not think that is just used to it. We should appreciate our luck a lot.
Yes.
He told me if you don't want to use the asthma spray, you gotta train your breathing and holding the air. And I became as a little kid, start to holding my breath as long as I could. As I told you.
6 minute 47.
Yeah, it was my record.
This is amazing. I barely can hold my breath 2 or 3 minutes.
Today, maybe I would reach 2 minutes. But
Yeah.
when I was a kid and I was practicing this, the full attentional time,
Mm.
and, you can get pretty far. And you learn a lot of tricks how you can even advance the breathing
Mm.
by far. Yes.
They're moving. Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of stuff. Yeah. So breathing is giving our energy and keeps the body temperature in the right temperature.
Yeah.
So if breathing is not well, it's not just air for the brain and for the muscles, it's also the control of the body temperature and brain temperature. And our brain needs a lot of coolant, just like the sea does. Especially if it works a lot.
Yes.
We can use with our brain almost as much as energy, just like running,
Mm.
or like with your performance, like yesterday.
Yeah.
Our brain can so much energy take, like you would move all the time, like running or jumping, or
Mm.
so it. People can even lose weight when they use the brain, like really hardcore forcing the brain. Even though maybe it's not healthy, but that's a different question.
Yeah. It's an amazing pharmacy here. Huh?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So the breathing you did as a child, it had a
Very big impact in my life.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, that's right. And the climbing.
And the climbing
Yeah.
and the proper stomach. And yesterday in the car, you told me about bone training. And I find
Yes.
it amazing how people train their stamina, they train their muscle, they train their breathing. But what about bone training?
Well, bone training is something which usually the martial artists do, or people who train different fighting styles. But bone training is not just healthy for those people; it's also healthy for normal people, or normal human, because it gives the body, first of all, we can prevent ourselves from breaking our bones in
Yes.
accidents or something. And the other thing is we are usually limited by our own strength by a big percentage because of our bones.
Can you tell us more about that?
Well,
In very simple words, people can understand.
basically, when I was a sports guy, I was looking for different ways how I can become better instead of just using doping. So I was looking for alternative ways. What can I do? And everyone is thinking about air. Everyone is thinking about the red blood bubbles in the blood. Or everyone is thinking, yeah, bigger lungs or bigger muscles or stronger muscles,
Good nutrition.
good nutrition. And then I discovered that there are a lot of other things people don't know and which can be taken as advantage.
Mm.
And I began to try bone training and use certain nutritions, and it needs to be very carefully applied
Yeah.
because we can get problem with the stomach if we apply it wrong.
Yeah.
And basically, our brain starts to opening the limits of our muscles. So basically, a thin or skinny guy doesn't mean that he's weak, but if his joints are strong, he can use the full potential of the muscles.
And this potential is reduced by the brain to protect our bones.
Exactly, so we cannot break them.
So you would unleash the power of the bones to have a higher energy.
Well, yeah, actually, you feel like you have a higher energy, and the truth is, we are more powerful afterwards. If we train this
The bones.
more months or
Yeah.
years, we can develop for people thought most people would think impossible strength. This is what, for example, was Bruce Lee all about, and many Shaolin monks have this crazy strength to the body compared to their own size of weight. And I thought, I can try this. Turns out, if we do this in perfection, we can even multiply our energy.
And it seems it's working because you've been training yourself in 7 months into inline, 8 months inline skating,
Yeah.
close to a level of Olympic, or like you would say five.
No, here in Austria was vice master.
Yeah.
After 2 years training, I became in our training sessions in the winter training when we was running very fast because of the lungs and maybe the right breathing technique.
Yeah.
And the whole package. I was pretty close to world record by 800 meters running.
Yeah.
And by with the legs 800 meters running, and with inline speed skates or with high speed skates I was in the long distance by 10 kilometers or 21 kilometers. I was pretty advanced and very, very close to good times. Like in the rollerblades, it was like 1.5 kilometers, where I was very close to the record times. Well, without doping in some sports, it's not possible to get the world record speed. But in some other sports where balance or technique is more required, then doping itself it's not enough. So everything has a price, and when we do like sport, I think people should start to think that how far they want to go and what is the price for it. It's not always about the money. It's not always about the time.
Yeah.
What do we have to offer or investigate to get there, and does it really pay out to do that? That's a different question. And once I began to read about metabolics and steroids and other stuff, I desired that that's not the right way for me.
Then that you want to go natural.
I want to go, yeah, I always want to go natural, but I was at a point where I was thinking to, because I was too close, but not close enough to beat. So I was, even though I have had some body advantages, last 3% or 5%, which were missing, were so hard to get.
Yeah.
That even with the full potential of the body, like 6 years of training and finding new ways how to get better and better, I was still not getting. There was like a war where you can the last 5% are like unimaginable
Yeah.
hard to get,
Yeah.
because it's even though it's maybe just 1 or 2 kilometers of speed difference, or three. Um, these few are so hard to hold that even with all the tricks and knowledge I have used, it was not possible for me to catch there. And I thought, for me, it's better to stay alive longer than just 40 years, 45 years, and having a small heart. I would prefer to live longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So during those time of challenges, I would say,
I discovered.
you discovered maybe knowledge for you to have a longer life today or healthier life.
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
I was also looking for living longer,
Yeah.
for many
Forever.
questions. Forever, if it's possible.
Yeah.
Who knows? And basically, there are some certain stuff we can use to, let's say, not maybe stopping the aging, but maybe slowing down the aging, of course. But to get to this point, it's not just money or buying products. Sometimes it's certain exercises and investigating time. Then the question is, does the time you investigate in these efforts just pay out or not? It's a very, very complicated question today for me.
Okay, well, let me ask you maybe a more simple question. Today, after all the experience you had, how much the body is present in your daily life?
For me, is the body by, I would say, like 90%.
90%.
Even though I work a lot,
Yeah.
I need to keep that more or less secret, at least for now. Maybe in the future we will talk about this. When I stop working in my area, then I can share more information about my working time.
Yeah. But the body is part of your daily life. You told me you stretch, you breathe,
I stretch every day.
Yeah. Why?
Because it gives us more energy, more air, better metabolics. It's giving us a huge advantage. So stretching is something I do every day, at least one time.
When in the morning, the evening, you have a better time.
No matter how tired I am, usually, if I was a normal guy, I would say in the evening.
Yes.
Maybe after the shower, after a hot shower.
Yeah.
Or just before sleep. That's the best time to stretch.
Yeah.
So we can stay in a good regenerating type of way to sleep.
Yeah.
It gives us more air. This is one of the parts. It gives us a better blood circulation. But stretching before sleep, it's really helpful and really good to the body. As long as we don't have things like sex, and we should consider that after the sex. If we think about stretching.
Or during.
Or doing, yeah. It depends what kind of sex people think about.
True.
But so basically, after movement or heat, we should apply stretching and then go sleep. It gives many advantages, but we can talk a whole book about this.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll do some more interview or sharing. Yes. In your life today,
yes,
what is the biggest challenge?
Follow the time management.
Tell us more.
Time management. Well, because we're doing so many things in life,
Yeah.
and no matter it's me or someone else, no matter how many hours we work or have private something else to do, we all have something to do. And even rich people have a lot of things to do. It doesn't matter rich or poor. But for me, is when I gonna take a shower, when I gonna cut my shave my beard.
I don't have this
When,
problem.
yeah, I totally agree.
I don't shave.
And when I gonna eat, how I gonna apply this to the work, maybe how I can combine things, do at the same time by not wasting time. So my biggest challenge today, even though most of it I pretty do it perfectly, um, it can be still always improved.
Mm.
So even though you was impressed, for me it's time management, something which is taking a lot of energy
Mm.
and a big plan, and maybe we need to write it down. Maybe if we get into this, we don't need it anymore to look.
Mm.
What should I do when I have this, when I have that, when I go there or here, and how I can use the time more efficient. And sometimes, if we don't have time, how we can make time. That's
How do you do that?
well, for example, we need to find out what does pay out for us most, what is for us the most important.
Uh-huh.
So for us, it's more important more free time or working time. If I would make like in the work more money, I can pay someone to do my homework, like cleaning the apartment or going
Taxes.
to shopping for me.
Mm.
Um, I can maybe apply that
What is the most important thing for you?
for me.
Yeah, when you speak about like what do you want to give time for?
Um, I wanna give a lot of time so I can do the things I like
Yes,
most.
yes, yes. And those are?
Those are having more free time,
Hmm.
um, like working maybe just 3 or 4 hours actively, maybe every day, maybe just 3 or 4 days. But I would like to work on my projects, which I would love to develop and not just think
Mm.
about them, not just dreaming about them,
Yeah.
actually realize them.
Mm.
And in order to do that, we need to go a lot of steps. It's not just
Magic wand.
magic wonder and just positive thinking and just time management. It's also finding the time and getting realistic targets how we can get there.
Yeah.
And if we cannot get there, can we go another way to get there?
Mm.
And thinking outside of the box. It is a
Yes.
really tough challenge. Sometimes we gotta change the work, maybe
That's
finding other work.
that's what you did all your life actually.
Yeah, sometimes we gotta ask someone to help us or to do a work for us so we can work even more effectively in our work, and nobody needs to know about this,
Mm.
at least in the company. Maybe afterwards, but it doesn't matter. Yes.
You spoke about positive thinking and you said might be not enough.
It's positive thinking. It is might be not enough, but it's a very important part of the life.
Yeah. What
So
more is required if it's not enough?
well, we should think then whatever you want, we need to make up priorities.
Mm.
And if we need, for example, help, and even though we think positively that we're gonna find the question which we're looking for, the answer basically,
Mm.
then we should start to ask people randomly.
Like right now,
Like I did.
interviewing, like
Yes.
asking your clients in the car,
Yes.
speaking to. You told me as a kid you were speaking to the elders.
Oh, this, yeah.
Yeah.
I was a very curious guy when I was a little kid, and I always preferred to speak with people way above my age. And maybe I was very annoying, I guess. But I have learned quite a lot about the mistakes of the people. But we gotta be careful when we think about mistakes of the people. We should never think that mistakes of the people, if we know them, that makes us perfect. We should try to look ourselves as well and see that we are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. And even though maybe we are very good in something, in one direction, maybe the best from a small group or a big group, that doesn't make us the best. Um, so positive thinking is we should follow the positive thinking, but we should also start asking maybe people or friends
Mm.
how we can get there if we don't know.
So asking for help
Yes,
and putting
it's
into practice by,
it's not forbidden.
yeah,
We don't get a fine if we ask people. Maybe we need to be more careful how we ask them.
yeah.
But if we ask them, we should be ready for a negative answer and
Mm.
take critic. A lot of people have the problem to take critics on our own back. But critics is something which I always look for.
Mm.
Especially in the last couple of years, I was certainly looking for more critic than positive
Mm.
answers or feedbacks. So critic is
It
something very
makes
important.
makes you grow faster.
Well, if we like to accept the
Yeah.
critics.
Um, failures. We spoke about, like,
A lot
failures.
of them,
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of them. Can you share, or can you talk about your failures and how much they build who you are?
Yeah, sure. My biggest failures as a little child was always to think that I'm smarter than my studying colleagues
Mm.
and makes me always the outsider. I wasn't really caring about this after a certain age, up to a certain age, but it is a huge mistake to do that. That thinking, okay, even maybe we have maybe the best idea from the group, but having everyone else against you is not a good idea.
Mm.
It's not. So that was a huge mistake, and we cannot know everything. For example, I always wanted to be a cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I became a cook. I was working as a cook 6, 7 years before I got my burnout. And what happened was I got in burnout. Turns out I'm not smoking, I'm not drinking, I'm not using drugs, so I was in the wrong place.
Mm.
So we cannot know what is the right thing.
So this failure was a big guidance, you would
It
say?
was a big because I put a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of time,
Mm.
working up to 16, 18 hours a day.
Mm.
and a lot of private teaching, like I was doing ice sculptures or chocolate sculptures or
Mm.
sugar things like animals or flowers or
Mm.
I was doing high quality
Yeah.
patisserie stuff in
Yeah.
French. That's kitchen for desserts,
Yeah.
for sweet candies. And I was really good at, but that's not. Even though we like something, we should not misunderstand what we like and what we are good in work.
Mm.
Work and liking are two different parts.
Yeah.
And I still like to cook at home today, but I don't want to
Mm.
be in the kitchen anymore, in a professional one.
Mm. So in those failure,
Yeah,
your body was trying to tell you something.
absolutely. And when it was already too late.
Literally. So now, with all this knowledge, how do you keep your body and your mind or your brain up to date so that you don't miss, that information and have a crash?
Well, I see every failure as an advantage. It's hard to see that, but it opens our eyes, and no matter what we have done, in what working area or what social area, um, good and bad experiences, we can always take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And basically, that's a complicated stuff, but I would say I'm happy that I got the burnout. I'm happy that I was an outsider because today
Mm.
I'm quite good with people.
But that requires a mindset to be able
A
to say,
lot,
I'm happy,
a
I
lot,
failed.
a lot.
How do you train? What is this mindset of the pioneer or the
We
adventurer?
need to accept that we are not perfect and we are having mistakes. We are doing mistakes every day, everywhere, even I. Everyone does it.
How do you do this? If you would have to teach, for example, accept you make mistake, what would you share? Practice, or
Well,
is there anything
for
you recommend?
example, right now the leg of the table stay wrong, and I cannot keep my leg in the right.
Shall we move the table?
No, thank you.
Better.
So
So you were accepting it's not like you want.
it depends. Is it necessary? Is it necessary for us? Does it make a difference in the future
Yeah.
or not? So to accept all of that and say, well, yeah, I did some mistakes. Maybe I have done 1,000 mistakes. Maybe I have done a lot more. Question is, do I am healthy? Do I feel good? Do I have a target? Do I have a vision? Do I don't have one? And what do I want for my life? Not for entire life. What do I want to get in the next 3 months or 1 year or maybe where I want to be in 1.5 years? Not further than 5 years. I would not go farther than this because one of my biggest mistakes was thinking too far away. When I was a kid, I was thinking with 12 years, okay, I'm gonna become a master chef cook.
Mm.
And then I'm gonna make some money. And then gonna open a restaurant. And then
Yeah.
gonna make myself to known under known politician and experts and became like a governor or president or vice president. There was a total crap when I
Yeah.
decided with 12 years to do that. I had like a little book where I was writing my ideas and I was following them, but not all of them went in the right way.
Yeah.
So we all do mistakes and we should um, try to accept that mistakes are human
Mm.
and every human has his own mistakes and how I can fix them. Do I want to fix them?
Mm. Like the table.
Yeah,
Mm.
for example.
I understand so much what you say about having very high expectation, because as a dancer, if I want to do the flip jump or whatever, and my expectation is high, but the body is not ready, I get injured. It's like telling me, you looking too high, stay where you are first and grow till that point. So this tension between the big dreams and where you are sometimes is crushing you. And
But sometimes you gotta run before you can walk.
yeah, well, that pushes you to a very interesting mindset of making the impossible happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we gotta really believe in ourselves. But maybe we cannot fly with that, of course not.
yeah,
But we should be careful how we consider that. But we should always try to push the boundaries, the limits, if we want it. The question
yeah.
is, what do we want for our life? And
What do you want today for your life? What is the drive after all those crazy burnout, high performance in sport, very high level of patisserie in cooking? When it comes down to today's,
yeah,
what is the dream? What is the worth?
question is, in what time? Today, or in 1 year, or in near future?
In the near future?
My driven motivation would be, I have visions, like maybe living in a certain area
Yeah,
with a certain weather,
yeah,
having no stress at all. Well, I don't have any more stress since months, but we make the stress ourselves.
mm,
But having time,
having time. Great.
having time. For me, is time the only measurement. And I like to wear white outfits in my free time. Right now, in my working time, so I apologize for my black suit. But I like to wear always white clothes. But in order to do that, I need to work maybe something different, or
Mm,
having more free time,
yeah.
and spending my time to get more knowledge.
Mm,
For me, knowledge and time
knowledge and time.
is the most important thing, but anyone has different targets. For example, a friend of mine, he became a daughter. This daughter is wonderful. She doesn't cry. She's really cute. I also would love to have family one day. And I also would love to find a woman who doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, and maybe shares similar interests.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm not looking for relationships because of
Mm,
the many targets I'm
yeah.
following, and we all have problems. No matter how perfect our life is going, sometimes maybe someone needs our help, and that takes us back maybe one or two steps, but that does not mean that we should stop.
All
That's
right.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I wish you a lot of time and knowledge for the future, the near future,
Yeah,
and for the rest, family and a healthy wife.
yeah.
Thank you very much, Martin,
Thank you,
for this first
Matthew.
interview. That's it for today. And if you want to know more, just join me on the Reconnect with Your Body Facebook page. We'll see, I bet, soon.
Yeah.
And see you soon.